So, the day has finally arrived. I mean, ever since Spotify first launched, and especially ever since smartphones became widely adopted, Nintendo the clock has been ticking, like they've had little to no excuse to not put their music somewhere. And I mean, the discussion, whenever anyone even brought up the idea, it was never to actually put the music on Spotify or Apple Music. It was always, everyone knew Nintendo was going to make their own app if they ever did it. And we were all very much correct. The Nintendo Music app just was announced and released today, October 30th, 2024, suddenly, surprisingly, and it's got some stuff going on. So it comes free with your Nintendo Switch Online subscription, which is cool for us, but for someone who's just coming across the app online, like in the App Store, I mean, they'd be like, what, I gotta pay $20 up front for this? That would be kind of lame, but I'm not one of those people, so I don't care. So yeah, to start with, there are 23 games, which is pretty lame, but at least they represent every console, except Wii U, I think. Yeah, they skipped the Wii U and 3DS, actually. But everything else has at least one game, which is pretty cool. They got some weird picks on here, like, okay, they have the Metroid soundtrack and the Famicom Disk System Metroid soundtrack, as well as Tomodachi Collection, Nintendogs, and they have a whole album that's just Wii channels. It's sick, like, the normies are gonna love this, and me, also. And they have, like, every variation of everything, too. Like, in Pikmin 4, there's 153 tracks, which means they have every version of every area theme, when you're battling and at sunset. It's awesome. The app is a pretty good experience. It's very slick and smooth, and I've not had any bugs yet or anything. Every track in every album has a little thumbnail that is showing you kind of what part of the game it would play in, which is kind of neat. There also are lots of pre-made playlists, character mixes, ones for like bosses. Per series, there's playlists, like a bunch of level 1 themes in one playlist. And there's also at least 1 or 2 playlists for each game. Like for Mario Odyssey, there's a playlist that just has all of the main level themes, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can also, this doesn't really apply, I'm sure, to most people right now, but you can hide certain albums if you don't want spoilers. So like, if they add a soundtrack for a brand new game like Tears of the Kingdom, it's not brand new, but it would be beneficial to everyone who hasn't beaten it yet, like me, to filter that one out. Also, you can download the songs locally to your phone. So, I mean, I know that's a standard feature, but we can't take anything for granted here. This is Nintendo. I have a couple gripes so far. There's no desktop version whatsoever, so you can't use it in a browser, and there's no, like, Windows app or anything, which is pretty lame, honestly. I would love to have all this on demand on my computer, but right now there's no option for that. At first I thought you couldn't share playlists with people. You can, but only via a direct link, so you can't search for playlists, which, I mean, I'm not surprised, but like, come on, guys. And like I said, yeah, the selection is pretty limited to start with, only 23 albums, and I don't know how exactly they're gonna go about adding more, like how often and how many when they do. I would kind of hope for like a few every week, because there are hundreds of albums they could do. So many games, uncountable, really. So like, they gotta do this pretty rapidly, or it's gonna take years for this to actually become a really solid collection of albums. I mean, they've done this before, Game Boy and Game Boy Advance started with like 6 to 9 games, which is pitiful. And only, like, I would say just recently have they become kind of acceptable in terms of how many games they have. So, we'll see, I guess. Also, there's no composer credits anywhere on the entire app. You can't find out who made what song at all. And that sucks. A, because, like, you should credit your people. B, because we don't actually know who specifically composed what song on a lot of games. Like, because, games often have multiple composers, so unless you're HAL Laboratory and you make sure to color code every song in the sound test to each composer, then we're not going to know, and that sucks. I also have one little gripe. In the little media player on your phone, when you swipe down, or if you're on your lock screen, you can't favorite a song on that. You have to actually go into the app and favorite it. So yeah, fix that, or I'm never gonna use it again. But yeah, overall, very cool. I like it, mainly because it's free, and you know, it's about fucking time, right? By the way, Brawl Burstums, like the original Nintendo music looper extender, he made a tweet. It's like, wow, look at you guys, that's awesome. I was very surprised to see that he's still kicking around. I mean, I was following him, so I at some point I just forgot, but like, wow, human beings live a long time. Yeah, that's all I got. Cool. I hope you add lots of music very quickly. Please, 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 please.